Timmy? Please give me. I need this light to be clear. Let me open that thing. Tired. Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. Queen Latifah. I hope I'm correct with the name. Thank you. You're welcome. Can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, let me know. If you can hear me, please let me know. If you can hear me, please let me know. Okay. Yeah. You're welcome. If you can hear me, please let me know. This is the Africa Project. My name is Taufik Sani. Yes. We are waiting for our guests to join us. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. Oh yes, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you for coming. This is the Africa Project. Okay. We're waiting for our guest to join us. Let's give him some few minutes. Okay. Yeah. Can you hear me, please? If you can hear me, let me see your comment, please. Let me see your comment. I want to be sure my audio is active and everyone can see me at the same time. This is going to be very, very explanatory, informative, and helpful at the same time. That is what I am sure about. Oh, thank you, Akko Prince. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me loud and clear. No, not yet. Thank you for letting me know you can hear me loud and clear. This gives me some encouragement that yes, I'm doing something right here. So we are waiting for our guest to join us live. Okay, this is Akko Prince, thank you. Okay, yes, our guest is here. So is here. Let me our guest is here already. He's here already. So welcome, Mr. Leslie George. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. You're welcome, sir. I hope you can hear me, right?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Cool.
It sounds, your voice is a little low. So can you maybe increase your voice a little so we can see you and see your voice as well? We want to see your voice. You know, we are dealing with how to explain, and this is around communication. So when I say we want to see your voice, it means that we want to get much more than we bargained for.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me well?
Yeah, it's getting better.
Getting better.
It's getting better. Yeah, okay, it's better now. It's better now.
Wait.
What did you say?
Okay, so can you hear me?
Yeah, but it sounds low actually. Maybe there's a button you need to press there, or there's something that needs to come closer to your. But I can hear you. It's just that it's quite low.
Okay. Hold on. Let me do something. Let me log out and come back. Log back in.
Okay. I want my viewers to have the best of this time. That's why I want to ensure your voice is very, very audible to everyone. It looks like, not just it looks like, I can see one of my ogas here, Mr. Niyi Adesanya. You are so welcome, sir. This is an honor having you here. I mean, you are one of the dons in the leadership space, and you're here supporting us growing. Thank you for coming, and everyone here that has logged on to join us in this program. I truly, truly appreciate your coming. Thank you so much. You're all an encouragement so that I know that something is being done right here. And I can tell you, the intention is good and the goodwill is contagious. I can say that because very soon, and even at the end of each event, someone will go with something very, very tangible. That's my goal. Very tangible, so that in 5-10 years, you always remember the Africa Youth Project. That something jumped at you. and since then, your life never remained the same. You know, always going brighter and brighter. So that's the goal, that's the intention. And we want to ensure that in Africa, our young people and those in growing their careers and also in business, they are able to create value. And that value should stay. That is the goal, that the value should stay. And the value should translate, the stain of that value should translate into development, actual development that everyone can see, that even the blind can feel, palpable change, palpable development, that even the blind can feel it, and the deaf can see, you know. Yes, that's the intention. So everyone gets the best of Africa. Nigeria, Ghana, Ivory Coast, anywhere in Africa. That's the goal. That's the goal, actually. You know, I usually say something that if any professional, I mean, that's actually our thrust. If any professional doesn't understand or understand the industry he or she operates in, the question is, how can that professional navigate his or her way into leadership? It's not possible. That's the truth, because along the way, there are challenges, there are odds, there are, just name it. They are there to make you get tired along the way. But if you're not tired because you know why you are in what you're doing, you would definitely get to the top. And leadership is what is the responsibility of everybody, everyone, regardless of your gender, regardless of your religion, regardless of your ethnic leaning, anywhere you are, whoever you are. Leadership is what is a responsibility. Definitely is a responsibility. So yes, our guest is back.
Can you hear me now?
Mr. Leslie George, thank you. I can see Omobola George. Thank you for joining. So the Africa Project, the Africa Youth Project. The last time we had the part one of this event, and we had Mr. Leslie with us, and he shared a whole lot that I so much believe. In fact, it was so impactful, we began getting some calls for part two. And we thought that someone else would come for part two so he can come for part three, but I just felt, for the purpose of cohesion and coherence, I decided that, okay, he takes part two and we have part three. This particular topic has 6 parts. So someone is already on ground for part 3, someone is already on ground for part 4. So I so much believe that if you're a participant here, a lot awaits you, a lot awaits you, a lot of value. So, Ms. Leslie.
Can you hear me well now?
Yes, it's better. It's better. It's better.
Okay. I don't know.
Yes, it's better. Yeah. So, please, if you can hear Mr. Leslie loud and clear, like one of us here said, if you can hear him loud and clear, please let me see your comment.
Can you hear me?
Let me see your comment if you can hear him loud and clear.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You hear me?
He is the reason why we are here. So we must hear him. We don't want to lose any letter of his word or any sound of his word. We don't want to. So please, if you can hear him, let me see your comments.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me well? Can you hear me well?
Okay. Chinwe Amara said, yes, I can hear him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So.
Yes, Kende said, I can hear him. Oh, that's fantastic. So, Mr. Leslie, you started last year, last time. You even gave us a story about like 100 years ago where this communication thing started and all that and all that and all that. So, would you mind in 5 minutes just give us a recap, and so that those who were not here can flow with what you have for us today, so we don't get the flow is not cut, in between.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Thank you.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to just a recap of what we talked about. Just a little, not really a lot. Just a little.
Yeah, just a little for our listeners to catch up.
Okay. The whole idea, when we start to talk about having to explain, having to communicate effectively, having to do all that, it's a big problem for a lot of people. The reason is simple. As human beings, we generally believe that we are capable of communicating clearly. We don't question it. We just do it, And the only time it occurs to us is when somebody says something like, I don't understand, or I'm not following. That's basically when it occurs to us that, okay, maybe I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do as I should do it. There is a problem. The problem is we need to be able to preempt such things. We need to be able to preempt a person's lack of understanding or a person's inability to follow our line of thought. If you are a business person, you work or you interact with people a lot, and your job or whatever you do requires you to talk a lot and all that, you must preempt all that, I don't understand, or I didn't understand, or I'm not following and all that. You must be able to preempt it. There's something about communicating with people. It is you getting what is in your mind across to another person so that they can internalize it. You can't do that if you don't know the tools that you need to use. And we talked about this at length the last time. I don't want to go back into that. But the whole idea is taking communication and using it as a tool, converting that into a tool so that you can get across whatever it is you want. A lot of times we even communicate without words. And the reason we can do that is because we've established certain things and we're building on those things.
So, thank you so much. And as you're joining in, thank you for coming. Please, if you want to get a full gist of what we did the last time, please just go through my my page on Instagram here. You will definitely see it. Or you can even go to my YouTube channel at Taufik Sani. Everything is Taufik Sani. So so as not to lose out on anything. So please, sir, you would. The last time I had a discussion with you, you were going deeper, and I thought, no. This is not what I only should hear. That was the reason. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
So that was the reason I said there should be a part 2 to this. So you were talking about the place of the person. It seems okay, you're back. You are talking about the place of the person in explaining, and you did mention, you gave an example of your son. You wanted to start that particular trend. You gave an example of your son I think you said. Do you remember the example?
No, I can't really remember. That's why I'm waiting for you to say something.
Oh,
So I
okay,
remember.
okay. So, like, okay, how he talks, how he explains, how he said things. I'm trying to bring you back to that analogy that you were trying to give. What? What do you say?
I can't remember the context in which I said what I said.
Okay, okay. Yes, the context was you were bringing the person into the explanation. How who we are, how we speak, how we relate, how we
Okay.
perceive, how we understand can help in our bid to explain what we know,
Okay.
what we can do. Yes. So,
Okay. Let me
please, can you?
let me take it from that point of who we are. And
Okay.
listen, one of the things that we learn quickly is the concept of persuasion. You
Mm,
talk about being influential and you talk about being persuasive. There are two different things. But here's the thing: if a person would not do something if you had not spoken to them and told them and tried to convince them to do it, okay, then what you're doing is persuasion. In other words, let me try and explain. Persuasion is you getting a person to do something or agree to something or change their thinking and all that. Something that they would not have done by themselves if you had not spoken to them.
mm,
That's basically what persuasion is. But when we talk about persuading people, getting people to understand something or agree with something and all that, it has to do with certain things. One of the things that it has to do with is who you are, who you're known to be, what we know of you. That's one of the things that matter when it comes to having to talk to people, having to explain things, having to clarify things. The person that you're talking to, or the person that is talking, we need to ask the question, who exactly are you? What do we know of you? What do we believe of you? What is your reputation? What is your, those are the kind of things that people pay attention to when they're listening to you talk. Sometimes, even when you're clear in what you're saying, what we know of you or what we believe of you, reputation, it clouds you trying to communicate to people. If we think that,
mm,
oh, this person has no business talking about this kind of thing, no matter how clear and transparent what you're saying is, it's not going to go past anything. Nobody's going to accept it. They won't accept it. One of the reasons why when you're speaking, your public speaking, for example, or training or whatever it is, and somebody comes up to introduce you, and then they will give a background, and then they will talk about you, what you've done, where you're from, your experience. All they're trying to do is justify you talking about that
mm,
person. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make your audience know that, oh, this person you're listening to, he has a right to talk about this. The first thing that crosses their mind is, who is this person? Why should he be talking to us about this? What does he know about us? That's the first thing. So usually they prepare the ground for you by saying, oh, this is here, his what so and so and so, his leadership, whatever, and they'll talk about all those things. But the people will be like, oh, okay, that's why you talk to us. Wow, wow. It's only one of the things that we don't get. Who are you? What are you? What do you know?
your voice is
I've said
breaking.
before, Taufik.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, your voice. Okay, your voice is breaking. That was why I had
I
to
think it's the network.
let you know. So,
I'm not sure what.
uh, okay,
I
okay,
think
you can continue. You can continue. Sorry.
so.
Okay.
What we know of you is important. Once we the message is set, then we start to talk about the more. We talk about the, we talk about the context in which a lot of all these things are things that are important. You have to understand, what do you know? Do you know it enough to be able to say it in front of this particular audience? And what context are you saying this thing in? The context matters a lot. A lot. The context to which the thing, whatever it is you're saying, it matters a lot. Sometimes you really know what you're talking about, but we're looking at you and we're saying, we don't know this. We're not ready to listen to this. We don't want to listen to this. Now, your job is twofold, because you know, convince us to listen. And then you have to actually do the job of communicating. So your job is on two levels. First, you have to convince us to listen, and then you have to convince us of sell the idea you have to. You need to start from, who am I? What do I know? What do I have? What justifies me saying this thing to this person or this people? Because those are the things that make people want to listen to you. People don't want to listen to you if they think that you don't have the right for justification or standing enough to say whatever you say. It doesn't matter what it is. You can't explain it enough because they're not listening. So, like I said, the person, the message, the audience, always pay attention to those things. I want to talk to an audience. I first ask myself, okay, and is it something that I have right at the right to say? I know what I do. I think I know what I do. Then I'm going to ask, okay, what exactly is it that I'm saying? Then I'm going to ask the audience, how do I talk to this particular audience? How do I communicate what I'm saying to this audience, this one that I'm talking to? And that's important. And then the context. So,
I picture myself. Can you hear me?
yeah.
While you were speaking, I picture myself. In the dragon's den.
Okay.
And I need to explain what I do. I'm giving this analogy because I know there are business people here, there are professionals here, and these are the things that we see or we encounter perhaps on a daily basis. So I see myself needing to explain what I do, even though I have all of this thing you just said now. I have listened to Mr. Leslie George, and I have internalized what he said, okay, and I am in front of investors, or I'm in front of that HR manager that all he needs to do is just to say, okay, hire. But I need to confirm to him that I know what I'm saying. I need to confirm to him beyond what I know, beyond what I think I know. How do I now? I learned something that competence and performance, they are two different things entirely. That's where I'm going actually. Two different things entirely. In that regard, because I need to tell them, I need to let them know that I know what I'm saying, but it's not about what I know. I need to express it. Please, in this side of competence and performance, this relationship, please, how can you help us so that when we land in that space, what should we do?
Let's say you're talking to people who are going to invest in your business. Let's say you're talking to people who will hire you. Let's say you're talking to people that you probably want to consult for. Let's say you're talking to whatever it is, okay? The first thing you need to know for yourself is, besides having the information that is important, having the information that is important, besides all that, besides knowing everything that needs to be known about the thing you're talking about, besides that, you need to know what this person you're talking to needs to hear. Let me say that again. You need to know what they need to hear. You need to know what they would like to hear. A lot of times we're talking from our perspective, from the perspective of, okay, this is what I think, this is what I think, this is what I think. But you need to establish what that person you're talking to, that potential investor, that hiring manager, that organization that wants to hire you for your services, whatever it is, whoever it is you're talking to, you need to know what they need to hear from you. If you can't say the things they need to hear, they're not listening. They're not interested. It's like this. Let's say you're giving a report, okay? Let's say you're giving a report. You've already written it down and all that, but then you're going to give it verbally. You're going to talk about the things that matter most to the people who are listening to you. What is the thing they want to hear? When you're talking to investors, the major thing you need to say is what this thing is, how it's going to work, how it's going to make us money. We have what you call your revenue, what's that thing called? Your revenue plan, okay? So you have a revenue plan. How is it going to make us money? How is it that we will not lose money? What they want to hear is, can you do this thing? Yes. Can you sustain this thing? Yes. Can you sustain its ability to make money? Yes. Can you make sure that we do not do something? Now, one of the things that people don't understand is because businesses, people are not in business to make money. People are in business to keep making money. Put that in your organization.
Please repeat that again.
Organizations are not in business to make money. Organizations are in business to keep making money. If a person is going to invest in whatever it is you're doing, they need to know that they can keep making money. Those are the kind of things they want to hear from you. When you watch and the rest and all the other shows of Shark Tank, and what they want to hear is this thing sustainable? Can this thing keep doing what we want it to do? Can you start this thing and keep it going? That's what they want to hear. Don't talk of everything when it comes to can this business do what we need it to do? You need to know what they want to hear. If you can't tell them what they want to hear, no matter what you say, every audience is something that is important for them to hear. With every single audience, there's something that's important for them to hear. It's not job to determine what that thing is. Otherwise, you will lose. You will lose. For example, there are three things in your Three things. Regardless of how it's framed and all. Three things. One, can you do the job? Two, do you want to do the job? Are you passionate about it? Is it something that you love doing that you feel like? And then third, can we work? What are those things that you're talking here? Anything you're saying outside those things is not thinking. You want to convince them to do them for fun. I can do the job. Two, I want to do the job. And three, I'm the kind of person who can work. Anything outside that, they're not interested. They're not going to listen. If you can't persuade them of those things, there's nothing to them on. So when we talk about people in business and all that, it's quite easy. There's the second part of the person. The second part is called utility. What can I do? Utility. When you're selling something, you're selling form, you're selling function. You can't sell form. You sell function. With like furniture, selling form and function. So it looks nice, and we can still speak to it. It looks amazing, and all that. It looks expensive, fine. It looks and we can still sit in it comfortable. If it looks amazing and it's not comfortable to sit in, you have failed in that regard. So you need to be able to sell form and function in things like furniture, clothes, and all that. But when it comes to business, you're selling products, you need to be able to sell function first. Because if it has no function, form doesn't work. Nobody will buy it. What does it do for me? Except the stuff if you can do want to establish. You need to be able to tell people what they want to be able to do. Now, that's what we talk about. You don't self-form yourself from. Like I said, I think I said this the last time. If I want to sell a phone to you, you want to buy a phone from me, and I say this phone has an oscilloscope, has a gyroscope, it has an oscilloscope. You're going to look at me and wonder what is wrong. But when I tell you what an oscilloscope does, or what a gyroscope does, I am telling you what those things will do for you if you buy the phone. When I tell you that oscilloscope, gyroscope, so you understand how they are functional, how they work. So every single person, every single person you must know what they need to hear, and that's what you will always arrive at. That's what you say. You arrive at what they need to hear. No matter where you go round and round in the conversation, you must arrive at what they need to hear. If you're not talking about the things they need to hear, you're not talking to them. When a person asks you a question, for example, and then you start to tell them how the thing is, how beautiful the thing is, you're losing. You're losing. There is a point you need to understand that every single person, there's something that interests them. Find the thing that interests them and then push in that direction.
So, what you're trying to...
Yeah.
Okay, so what you're trying to let us know now is that for anyone that needs to explain anything, regardless of the enormity of whatever you want to explain, the industry, anything, you need the responsibility vested on that person is to know what is expected of you, what is expected of you to say.
What they want to hear. Every audience has what they want to hear. And you must be able to tell them what they want to hear. Every audience.
So
the thing is,
whoever, okay.
No, go on.
Whichever audience you're talking to, you need to first know the audience you are explaining to.
Yes.
Understand who they are, and know what they want to hear.
Exactly. They must know what they want to hear.
So that will guide the way you will now explain. In fact, guide the language you will use to explain whatever you want to explain. I hope I captured what you're trying to tell us.
Yes. A lot of times we're talking, but we're not talking to the people that we are supposed to be talking to. The audience that's in front of you, whoever it is that's listening to you, you want to explain something. You must, okay, let me digress. You must be able to, because you know the audience, automatically you understand the language. When I use the word language, I mean whether it's or English or German. That's what I mean. When we say language,
I understand.
It's what your audience, it's like saying, this is the thing they understand. And because it's the thing they understand, that's where you're going to approach them from. When you're talking to an audience and you're talking about their head, when you're talking to an audience and you're talking below their interest, you've lost them. When you're talking to an audience and you're not speaking in the things that they are interested in, you have lost them. A lot of people, the first 2 minutes of anything you're saying is the most the first 2 minutes. Because you're coming to that whoever is the first 2 minutes. The very first 2 minutes. So you want to sell something, you see you have 60 seconds to sell that idea. But what you're selling in 60 seconds is what will make that person stay there for the rest of what you have to say. That's what you're selling. You see, your capacity to explain is tied to the audience that you have. If you don't know that audience, don't understand that audience, can't dig behind them, you have a problem. There's nothing you're going to explain to them. There's nothing. So you're going to be a...
So, okay. So, while you were talking, some things were just coming to my mind. Leadership aspirations. And, you know, we are raising leaders. And we are raising leaders in the most uncommon, unconventional ways. Now, before we begin talking about explaining aspirations, maybe what a company wants to be in the next 50 years, 30 years, 20 years, and all that. Before we get to that, we must handle this part that you're trying to explain to us. On the personal level, on the colleague level, on the social gathering level, on the small business level somehow, and even public speaking, like that. So, what if I have? How can all the things you're saying now? How can we like carry it, mold it up in a circle, and fit it into the circle hole of explaining company aspirations? That's the work of leaders. Am I right, sir?
Yeah, as part of your job as a leader is to actually sell the vision. Yes.
Good. Selling the vision, how, knowing that you have diverse set of people. I mean, you have Ijo, you have Urobo, you have Isekiri, you have Yoruba, you have Hausa, you have Fulani in your team, and yet you have something in your mind. You see your company somewhere in 20 years. I mean, that's a difficult task.
No,
That's really a difficult task.
Okay, let me try and explain something. You see, the levels with culture. Let me explain. I'm going to use this and come down to what you're saying. The levels in culture.
Okay.
Every organization, every business, every other. That's why you hear with corporate culture and all that. Okay, but the levels in culture. First, there's the level of the culture of the environment in which that organization is. First, that's culture. For example, in Nigeria, there's an overall culture. All right. Then there is the culture of individuals. All right. Now, first culture is the environment the organization is in. Then we have the organization's culture, and it must fit into that overall culture. All right. Then we have the culture of subsets in the organization, business units, departments, and all that. And then we have the culture background of individuals. What we try to do is harmonize this whole thing into the culture of the organization. That is why it's difficult when your own background culture does not agree with the value or the value culture of the organization. It's difficult for you to say. If your organization is fast-paced and all sorts of stupid things happen in the place and all that, and it's justifiable, and your background values don't support that, it becomes a difficult thing for you to do. Understand? Now, we harmonize those things into one organization culture. And in that organization culture that we harmonize, what we're selling are values. Those values that we're selling, once anybody buys into those values that we're selling, it becomes easier for us to explain certain things. Because now we have the same values. All right? Now, individual values of that. Every single person is going to buy into the overall value. Okay? Now, when I talk about aspirations of the organization, it is the people who have got into the values of the organization that I would talk. There's a small problem with values culture. If I'm trying to explain something, it's going to be built on what these people who are in this organization have agreed to. They have bought into. That's why we're saying, understand your audience. If I want to sell the aspirations of my organization, I'm going to talk about the vision, and I'm going to try and sell that. I'm going to talk about the mission, the things that we need to do to and I'm going to have to sell it to the individual. And I'm going to look at the values guide our action in going to achieve that thing. Here's the thing. I cannot explain anything if I do not know whether the people that I have on my team or in my organization have bought into the value that we are pursuing or I am pursuing. I'll be on my own if I'm only pursuing those things as value. You understand? It's like there's part of the American Constitution that says that we hold these things to be self-evident. That means that there's no need to explain it. Everybody knows. Do you understand? There's no reason for us to sit down and explain. Everybody knows. Everybody knows this thing. That's what they meant by we hold these things to be self-evident. There's some things that are self-evident. And when certain things are self-evident, you need to understand that we don't need to explain this thing. We just need people to buy in. In that regard, we are persuading them. It's persuasion of persuasion. We're selling the values of the goal. We're selling the things that we're pursuing. Exactly. I'm not trying to explain it. Now I'm a salesman. I'm selling ideas. I'm selling the future to this. But you see, for me to be able to sell it, the values I'm talking about, I have to be able to explain why we're holding them. The director of the book is able to explain why the first people who are part of the organization are like startups. They exit because somewhere in their head, I'm not buying into it. I've not been told today I don't want to be part of this and I'm losing. What happens actually is so what's self-evident and what requires explanation. You need to know how to take the values of individuals and integrate them into the values of the organization of field. If you can't integrate that, if it doesn't fit, there's no way to get people to run with you. You can't get people to run with you. Your capacity to explain is dependent really on the audience that's selling that idea, that vision. That's one thing you need to understand. Anyhow you do it, your people, the people you're selling this thing to, are there certain things that are self-evident? But are there things that require explanation? Or are there things that you need to persuade them? There are actually certain things that you have to persuade on constantly. Over and over again, you have to keep persuading. Every once in a while, you have to come back and say it. You have to come back and say it. And every once in a while, you have to come back and say it. Because besides the fact that people forget, certain things happen that challenge those things. So you have to come back and decide. That's how it works.
So when you said that, something just dropped in my mind. That's the weapon, the tool of repetition in the bid to explaining things, especially in the corporate setting. And that is what you just mentioned now, which is really, really vital. And I so much believe it's a tool in the hands of those that truly understand what it is and what it can do. Repetition, repeating something, because sometimes our brain, especially in this Indomie generation,
a lot of things
where things are just
a lot of things are happening, a lot of things are going on, a lot of things that you're involved in, that you're part of, a lot of things are playing in your head. And there are certain things that happen that push you from certain convictions that you've already hold. You have to fight to maintain those convictions. Now, organizations need to understand that, which is why we keep coming back to talk about certain things. When you're motivating people, really, you're giving them reason to continue. That's what it means. You have to keep coming back to refresh those reasons for them to continue. You have to come back to let them understand that, oh, this reason is so valid. You understand? And you have to repeat those things and say those things, say those things. The thing with culture, building a culture, is how you deepen the values and all that of the culture in the minds of people. And the way to do that is say them over. That's why we have speakers and have all those kind of things on the calls and stuff like that. So that you constantly see a vision, see a mission, constantly see it. It is constantly see it. You can't forget it. And every once in a while, we come back and we emphasize this thing so that it is something that we will never forget. It's like brainwashing, but in a different way. So you never forget. So you need to start what needs to be told, what needs to be explained, and what you need to do.
So can you, because we are getting to the end of this part. I wish we can stay more. I wanted to stay more than an hour, but I think Instagram can only give us an hour, I guess. So how can you, just to help our listeners and those who will listen to this after now, like from a start, just to link the last, the things you discussed the last time, not really the explanation. And we, from the things to take note of, and from beginning to now, how can you help us to organize it and keep it in our heads?
Okay, when it comes to explaining things to people, very first thing is, what do you want to say? How well do you know what you want to say? That's the question. How well do you know what you want to say? You need to be able to confirm that this thing that I'm saying is the right thing. If you've known something all your life, when you want to say it to people, start to question it. You know why you should question it? If you question it, you're going to go back to look at it and review it to make sure that, oh, okay, I'm correct. Question it. It helps you to go back to look at it again and say, oh, I'm correct. There's certain things I've known for a long time and I've talked about and all that. And then at some point I've gone back to look at it and I'm like, oh, wait, I've told people some things I shouldn't have told them. Do you understand? You need to go back and
it happens a lot.
You understand? Review certain things. First, what is it that you know? Then we're talking about the audience. Then we're talking about the language that you use, your use of language, how you talk, you see, there's some people that they have something to say, but the way they talk is discouraging. It doesn't inspire people to want to listen. Do you understand? Then you should understand the role that you're playing in you explaining anything. For example, if I am telling people that I am doing a training on teaching you how to speak better and how to write better and how to critical reasoning and all that. Okay, forget critical reasoning. Let's say think and write better, speak better, and I'm saying that. And then you hear me talk and I'm making inexcusable grammatical errors. You see me write and I'm writing stuff that even if you're a secondary school student, there's a problem with you writing like that. Do you understand? It doesn't
very distracting.
Confidence. If you say that, oh, I'm a business consultant, when you start to talk about business and business consulting, it becomes a bit difficult for people to fault you because you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing and you say, I'm a business consultant, and you're talking, and somebody in the audience is looking at you and saying, where's this person from? What's this rubbish this person said? You have lost that person and every other person in that audience who understands what's going on. You must know what you're talking about. You must be able to defend whatever it is you're saying. The language in which you're speaking it, the language that you're using, your use of language, the words you use. I think I was saying it the other time. A lot of us will talk and we adopt an accent that we feel that if we talk like that, it defines them. The accent that you follow doesn't define you. You still talk rubbish with an American accent. There's a problem with that. You talk absolute nonsense in a British accent. There's a problem with it. What you want to say must be something that you know well. The accent doesn't excuse you. It doesn't excuse you. It doesn't make you smarter. It doesn't make you more brilliant. If you're brilliant and then you go to adopt an accent, nobody is going to hold it against you because you're not going to talk nonsense.
I agree.
That's
I agree.
So there's certain things that you need to pay attention to. You need to pay attention to. There are lots of things I can't actually go into them, but know what you're saying, know whom you're saying it to, know how well you should be able to say it, understand the circumstances that surround you saying it. If you want to persuade people, if you want to explain something well, you're going to ask the question, why should this person accept what I'm saying? Why should this person I'm talking to right now, why should they accept what I'm saying? Some of us talk and think that it's because I'm the one that's saying it, they should accept it. Nobody accepts it because it's you. If people are accepting what you're saying because it is you saying it, you're leading them down a very wrong path. Because the day that you say all sorts of nonsense, they will accept it because it's you. You must teach people who listen to you often how to be critical, how to analyze what they're hearing, what tells them that this thing is correct. Why should anybody listen to you? Why should they accept what you're saying? Those are the kind of things that you need to hold. Let me say this. There's some of us who we're coaches, we are trainers, we facilitate all sorts of things, whether it's meetings and training and all that, and we do all that. Now, there are lots of us that we are all those things by name, not by reputation, not by experience, not by expertise, not by, just by name. So much so that when you start to do what you're supposed to do, people are shocked that, how is this person a business coach? How is this person a leadership coach? How is this person? You understand? You need to do what you're saying by expertise, by reputation, by the skill acquired, not just in name. That's what gives you credibility. When you open your mouth, I have gone and researched it. This guy is saying something that I should keep listening to. That's how people, that's what gives you credibility. The fact that you know what you're saying. If you are a chef and you're talking about food, I talk about cooking and all that, people listen to you because you're a chef. But when you're talking about food and you're not a chef, you need to prove to people that you know what you're saying. You need to prove.
Sir, 1 minute. While you are talking this thing, while you are saying these things, something came to my mind that really, how to explain is a great deal. Why did I say that? When immediately you mentioned coaches, something came to my mind. You know, some people, they know something. I mean, they know it to the bone marrow of that thing. Yet, they cannot teach it.
That's the thing. That's a problem. The problem is there's some things that we know and we know it well. We can't teach it. We can't transfer that thing in any kind of way. We don't know how to train
knowledge
people.
Transfer.
You see, you knowing something is one thing. You being able to teach it or communicate it or explain it is another thing entirely. The skills to explain, to teach, to train on something that you really know are skills that you need to acquire. There are very few of us that actually have those skills naturally. You need to learn, how do I teach this person this thing I know? I've listened to people say things like, and this is the thing, the person say, I don't understand. Say, look, I don't know how to explain it. It's not because they don't know it, but they don't know how to explain it. Now, when you have people like that teaching, you have a problem. We have teachers in schools who don't know how to explain. And they put those students in a difficult situation because they can't explain what they know. What happens in teacher training colleges is this: they teach you how to teach. That's why teachers...
Not how to explain.
Yes, how to explain. That's why teachers are supposed to go to teacher training colleges, because they teach you how to explain.
Okay, they teach you how to explain. I guess. Not
so
even,
teachers,
usually not the knowledge, not the knowledge of the subject, but the act of passing, disseminating information, the act of transferring knowledge.
How you communicate it. Now, if you don't understand that, when you have teachers that have skipped that part and they're teaching people, you have a problem, because they don't know how. They do not know how. There's some people, the only way they can teach you is by experience. They just tell you their own experiences. There's some people that's how they teach. They just tell you their own experiences. When you start to ask questions, they'll tell you, I don't know. The one I know is what I'm telling you right now. You understand? Because they don't know. They don't know how to communicate. Don't think that because you're an expert in something, you've already known how to communicate. No. Communication is a skill. Being able to communicate what you know is a skill. Being able to explain what you know is a skill. It is a skill. I talked about it in the first part a lot. Talked about that a lot in the first part. So
yeah. So our viewers should take the time. Our viewers should take the time to go and see the first part and join it to this, to have a full grasp of what LG, as his people, as his community call him. Life is good.
Let me say this. Listen.
Okay.
The kind of person that you are will determine how you communicate with people. It will determine how you communicate with people. If you're a person who's dismissive, you don't respect people, it becomes a bit difficult for you to be able to have people sit down and you explain things to them. You can't, because they're not going to listen to you. You don't know how to get people to listen. The kind of person that you are, what you know, what you learn, what you become, that's basically how it is. What you know, yes, you know, then you're learning, you're adding to what you know, and then what you become. You see, that thing that you become is what is going to determine what you know, what you learn. What you become. So, change who I am. If I change who I am, I change a lot of things about me. I change how I talk about things. I change how I pursue knowledge, information. I change that. So the person that you become will determine what you know, what you learn, and definitely will determine how you communicate those things. So we're teaching skills, but then the skills that we're teaching are limited because the people that we're teaching them to must take these skills and convert them into tools. The things that we're saying, you must be able to take them and convert them into tools so you can use them. This is
it is in the using.
It is in the using. There are lots of things that we have to say. There are lots of things that can be said in this thing, which is why Taufik was talking about part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. There are lots of things that have to be said.
Yeah.
And
the Lord.
If we come back to this thing again, we're going to be specific as regards what we say. Instead of talking generally, specifically take one thing and talk about it.
But I would really love us to have that part 3.
We'll do that.
That's good.
So,
that's very good.
Thank you very much.
I would really love us to have that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, LG, for honoring us. By the way, let me say this. LG has not just come on air to educate us about how to explain. He has as well given us 5 solid express scholarship to attend his leadership development program. By the way, leadership development program is a program that LG runs, that's Horizon Boone runs. He is the lead consultant of Horizon Boone. So it's a 3-month program. I have been there. I was there for 6 months, and I know. Okay, now let me give you a gist about this. Why I truly respect and appreciate what LG is doing with that course at Horizon Boone, and they're running that course. the leadership development for 3 months. I was at Abuja. Someone invited me to Abuja, and coincidentally, while I was there with him, another person called him. The result of that conversation led to registering, the registering of that program, a leadership program, just for 2 days. We registered for that program, and he now said, since I'm here, oh yeah, go. That was how I was part of that leadership program. And what I got, it was a 250,000 naira stuff. What I got compared to what I came back to Lagos to get, I realized that, you know, some things are heavier. You know, there are some heavy material, heavy knowledge that I got that is worthwhile. That was why I knew that really there are some programs that we should go for. It will really, really help the positioning of our knowledge, the positioning of our career. And I so much believe that Horizon Bones leadership development is one of them. So in case you're watching this, I advise you can reach out to Leslie and hear how he runs it. And there you go. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I appreciate you for coming.
I just want to say something else. There's a training I do that has to do with how to explain and all that. It's called
oh, great, great.
How leaders communicate, and how leaders communicate.
Yes, I forgot. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you.
That's no we'll talk. All right. Thank you very much. I'm grateful.
Yeah. So how leaders communicate is another course that I personally have taken. So I know what it is. So please, you can talk to Leslie and know how you can be part of it. Thank you so much for everyone for coming. Thank you, Leslie. See you next time. Yep.